As angry as they are they as angry as Jim Rutherford? He sounds like an angry old man. Or he did yesterday on 650.
Yeah, it was
because he went out of his way again several times.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there were some questions that elicited some of those answers that are being quote tweeted today. But there were other parts in that interview where he went out of his way.
Well, here's the thing: is it's not only did he repeat himself over and over in that interview, but this interview is one of a series.
Correct.
Collect all volumes today.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Exactly. And that I'm sure has Canuck fans very perplexed as to what is being accomplished by these public eviscerations. Like
exactly.
Like once or twice. Isn't that usually what coaches are given in today's sports world?
Yep. And it makes you wonder who he is speaking to. And our friend Patrick Johnson has some thoughts on this later today in the show. Is this another manager who is doing a media interview where really the audience is his boss? The intended audience is his boss.
Yeah, maybe. Or he's imploring the audience. I mean, is there a chance Jim Rutherford is imploring the audience to carry some...
To turn on Boudreau?
To turn on the franchise, to raise hell. I mean, Jim Rutherford's not getting fired. Let's be clear about this. Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin are going nowhere. So...
Well, I mean...
They're not, Matt. You know how this business works. They're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. So there's a manipulation here. Who of? It's a great question.
Mm-hmm. I answered yes to the poll question because, look, everybody knew the defense wasn't good enough. You didn't do anything to fix the defense. You're asking the coach to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You even took away the analyst who was supposed to, speak analytics to Bruce and Rachel Dory. Now, he said yesterday in that interview, if we were playing a real strong structure, it would make it easier on the defense. Could be some fairness there. Different structure, this group of defensemen would look better.
But are we talking like 4 wins different, or are we talking incremental difference, right?
That's it.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's piling on at this point. What he's saying about the coach and the structure or the lack thereof is piling on.
And yet, Matt, you could also make I'll vote yes too, but with an asterisk. Is it unfair what Aquilini is doing to Jim Rutherford? Or did to Jim Rutherford?
Yeah.
Both in terms of the order in which things were done, both in terms of the information given to Jim Rutherford. Clearly, it wasn't clear, if that makes sense, what Boudreau's contract was when Rutherford signed on.
And that is so Mickey Mouse. Like, that is...
Yeah.
When I heard that, I was gobsmacked. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You didn't know the coach had an option for this coming year?
You can sort of play that conversation out in your head, can't you, how that went? Don't worry about that. He's just signed for the year. You can just sort of play it out and be like, oh, okay. And like, is that how it went down?
Well,
really?
If that's the case, then fire the coach and bring your own guy in. And tell management. Tell ownership. This isn't our coach.
Yeah.
We've got to move on now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who else you're paying. You got to empower me. You've empowered me to make all these renovations to the arena. You've empowered me to go out and look for a practice facility. These are pretty big capital projects.
Oh, massive.
I don't care that you're still paying Travis Screen. I don't care that you're still paying Benning and Weisbrod.
Do you think MLSE would clear the Leafs to pay 3 coaches if it meant that they put themselves in a better position to win?
Well, yeah.
I think they would.
And that's the other part is like, well, hold on a second. You've spent on hockey. Like, the one good thing about the Aquilinis is they have spent on hockey operations.
Hell or high water.
Outside of that one offseason.
Mostly high water. This has been a cap team at the bottom of the league.
Yeah, high water's delivering us to hell here. If we're not there already.
That might be the better of the 2 options.
Yeah.
But they've spent on the cap. The harder place to make the decisions is under the cap. There they've spent money.
Exactly.
Away from the cap is the easy place to spend money because it's only money. It's only money.
So if it's not about the money, and it could well be about the money.
It could be.
But if it's not about the money, then what's it about? Francesco buddies with Bruce?
Power struggle? No,
there's no power struggle with an owner. The owner has the power. Everybody acknowledges that.
Yeah.
You just don't want to embarrass the owner by firing his guy less than a year after he took over?
See, Jim Rutherford does have
worried about the market reaction?
Jim Rutherford has power in this. He's not getting fired. Like if Francesco Aquilini fired Jim Rutherford tomorrow, again, folks, it's not happening. Can you imagine what a laughingstock this organization would look like? Can you imagine? Like Jim Rutherford is got free reign right now in terms of he can say whatever he wants. He's not getting fired. So there is a power struggle there to some degree of I'm going to keep spewing here, Francesco, and I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say unless I've got some free reign to make actual hockey decisions that I want to make. So I think there is some power there. I think neither one of these people are going anywhere. Francesco's not going anywhere. Neither is Jim Rutherford.
In terms of what he is willing to say, Rutherford, I must say, I was a little surprised he went down the road of next year as readily as he did. And it almost made me wonder, is that coming from a certain place? I mean, he talked about we're at the point now where, if things don't get better, they're going to have to start focusing on next year.
Yeah.
There will be a point where we do that, he said, in terms of setting up for next season.
A few weeks into a year.
12 games in.
And coming off of an offseason which they made moves clearly designed to try and win. You don't bring in Kuzmenko.
Right.
You don't bring in Mikheyev.
Well, Kuzmenko I think you bring in regardless because he's so cheap. And Mikheyev, he argued, look, it's a 4-year deal. He'll be here when we're good.
No, but you go after Kuzmenko because he's cheap and you're cap tight and he makes you better in your own mind. Like that's what you're hoping all happens.
No, but 32 teams were in on Kuzmenko, Blake, or wanted Kuzmenko. He's an easy addition because he's so cheap. To me, it's the Miller thing.
Yeah, Miller too.
To me, it's Miller.
Yeah, a lot of confusion as to where they are.
He talks about maybe they'll have to trade a player or two that would have otherwise not been traded. He talks about how, while we're building pieces around the periphery, we don't have those big puzzle pieces at the center in place just yet. We tried. He talks about how the goal for next offseason is acquire younger players, more draft picks, and cap space, but you've been saying that for nearly a year. He talked about making bigger deals to open up a lot more cap space for players who are going to be available next offseason or even sooner.
In the end, too.
And then he talks about, we're going to get a deal done with Bo, or if he keeps going on the pace that he's going, then we're going to get a better return.
The Canucks at any given moment could ice a lineup that includes 9 guys that make under $1 million. Like right now, the Canucks can ice a lineup with the guys that are at the NHL level.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That tells you what the other guys are getting paid. And if you're getting contributions from 9 guys that make under $1 million, then you're probably overpaying a bunch of other players.
Yep. The parts that I agreed with last night or yesterday from Rutherford include the parts about the players that, at some point you have to make players more accountable and take the necessary steps, whatever that may be. I mean, he going back to that locker room talk, he told them, hey, we'll waive guys. We'll sit guys down. They already sat down Connor Garland, Vasily Podkolzin.
I said I defended AV a lot with regards to slow starts. There was a couple of years of slow starts at times for the Canucks, and I said, you know what? This is the creme de la creme in the NHL. You're a professional hockey player. I don't think it's the coach's job at that point to give Knute Rockne speeches before 82 regular season games. You're a professional. Show the F up.
Yep.
And it's the same things for the Canucks in the third periods right now.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's the third period. It's go time. And they're getting obliterated in the final frame night after night.
Yep.
I don't think that's on Bruce Boudreau.
I don't think so either.
You're a professional hockey player at the highest of levels on the globe. That's just up to you. And it's one thing if they just lost third periods. They're getting obliterated in third periods. Shots and goals. Obliterated. That's different than, puck luck didn't work our way. Mm-hmm. A bunch of periods where they got outshot 9-7. Got outscored 2-1. Like, that's different. That's not what we're seeing, folks. Mm-hmm. Very clear.
And I don't know about you, Blake, but I was saying this last year, and I was getting some heat from it, heat over it. I'm not at all surprised that this is where we're at. I mean, am I surprised the record is so poor through 12 games? Yes. But I'm not surprised for a nanosecond that this has turned into management versus the coaching staff.
Versus the players, versus owners. Like, it's, as we'll hear about in Price is Right, like, it's Armageddon. Mm-hmm. It really is. And who'd have thought, because this team...
Like, I think Patrick Calvin and Jim Rutherford have gone out of their way to make it clear to all involved that Boudreau is not their guy.
3-6-3. They may as well be 0-12 based on how it's gone down. Honest to goodness.
Well, and here's the thing, like, I think the Blues have lost 7 in a row. It's really bad.
Yeah.
But just by the chatter across the league, who would you think is last place in the NHL?
Well, when you're only a few years removed from a cup, though, you've got a long leash.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The Canucks won a cup 3 years ago.
Yeah, no.
I don't think we're where we are.
Maybe the Blues do need a head coaching change. Maybe Craig Berube's message is now stale with those players. He walks away with a cup ring.
Yeah.
If Armstrong has to fire him, guess what? He built a cup team.
He may not hear all the criticism because he does have that ring in his ears.
Wow.